as we commemorate ANZAC Day 2025 in Lae. This is one of a number of events taking place all across Papua New Guinea today and indeed all across the world. We have significant representation in the old theatres of war in Turkey, on the Gallipoli Peninsula, in France, on the Western Front, and across the world in all of our embassies and missions as we, as Australians, commemorate this very important day. This day is important to Australians and New Zealanders and Papua New Guineans because it's an opportunity to stop and reflect about our shared history and about the sacrifice of the many men and women who have gone before us, who have given up their lives in the pursuit of peace and stability for our people. We have the freedom that we have today. We enjoy the freedom that we have because of their sacrifices, and that's what ANZAC Day is all about. ANZAC stands for the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. The name ANZAC was originally coined for our soldiers in World War I when they got together and fought for the first time together as independent countries. This year we mark the 50th year of independence of Papua New Guinea. And Australia and New Zealand, we're not that far ahead. We only became independent earlier in the century. And so it was a special occasion for us in World War I on the Gallipoli Peninsula to, for the first time, participate in that conflict as ANZACs, fighting together on the same side with the British Empire to carry out that campaign. So that's where the name ANZACs came from, and over time that name has stuck and has morphed into what we now have today, which is ANZAC Day on the 25th of April every year. We also celebrate Remembrance Day in November, which marks the armistice of the First World War. But ANZAC Day in particular for us is about commemorating soldiers, sailors, airmen, nurses, all those who've sacrificed themselves over the course of all conflicts in the history of our nations. And so that's why it's quite poignant to be here in Lae, where over 2,800 servicemen are buried from Commonwealth countries, including Indians, Australians, New Zealanders, Papua New Guineans, all in the Lae War Cemetery here, beautifully cared for by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission and the Australian government to preserve that memory, their memory, and that history. The Battle of Lae took place only just over 80 years ago. It's still in recent history. And so we take this opportunity every year to stop and reflect and remember that history. So that's what ANZAC Day is all about, and that's why the Australian government welcomes the involvement of the PNG government, the PNG Defence Force and others to help us commemorate this important event, because at the end of the day it was a team effort. We all fought together here in PNG as a part of that conflict, in particular in World War II.
Since this year is the 50th anniversary for the country, how do you think this
particularly special this year that only this week our Chief of Drone Operations travelled to Lae and he made the announcement that Papua New Guinea would be hosting for the first time ever a component of Exercise Talisman Sabre. Exercise Talisman Sabre is a huge multinational exercise that takes place every year in the middle of the year, every 2 years in the middle of the year in Australia. It involves a large number of troops, well over 5,000, sometimes 10,000 troops from Australia, New Zealand, the United States, Japan and other partners. Papua New Guinea has participated in Australia for a number of years now, but this is a particularly exciting year because Papua New Guinea will host part of the exercise, which will take place here in Mamase, and it will conclude here in Lae City. And so that will mark the end of the Exercise Talisman Sabre 2025, and we're just thrilled that the PNG government invited that exercise to take place here, a part of it, and we're really looking forward to working with our PNGDF counterparts to plan that exercise to get the best training outcomes and to improve the interoperability of our forces as we continue to work together in partnership for that moving forward.
About that exercise, it's a protest between Australia and USA. Is USA happy with Australia?
That we're still working through the details or who exactly will participate. At this stage, definitely Australians and Papua New Guinea Defence Force. So whether other forces also join, we'll just need to go through the planning between the Defence Forces in the coming months. However, it's likely that they would be participating, but at this stage not confirmed.
Thank you. Just a quick question. Circling the reflection of the 50 years anniversary of Papua New Guinea. Like, what does Papua New Guinea 50th anniversary independence anniversary mean to you?
I mean, I can talk personally and I can talk more broadly as well. I mean, for me, I'm just so thrilled with that personal family history I mentioned, to be here working in Lae this year of all years as we mark the 50th anniversary of independence. You know, we are very tight-knit countries. Australia and PNG were one and the same thing just 50 years ago. We were one country, and now 50 years on, seeing how far PNG has come in its independence journey is really a special thing, and we take the opportunity this year to really mark what has transpired in the last 50 years, reflect on that history. You know, the leaders that founded this country, recently passing of Sir Julius Chan, another Papua country in Somali. These are the leaders that founded PNG. That legacy is there, but moving into the next decades to come as well, this is the precipice that we stand on. We have the opportunity to stop and reflect, take a moment, celebrate what PNG has become, and to look forward to the future as well in terms of how far this country can come, the potential for economic growth, the potential for what PNG can bring to the regional economy, to the global economy is just fantastic. The fertility of the soil here, the number of young people that can contribute to the world economy is just without limit. And so Australia, as we always are, we stand here in partnership with PNG to help PNG realise that potential. We can bring some resources to the table, and that's what we do through our partnership. This year, the Australian government in PNG is launching our campaign called You Me Stop One Time. You Me Stop One Time is our partnership for the 50th year of independence on behalf of the Australian people. We're going to be marking the occasion with a number of fantastic events all over the country, with celebrity chefs doing cooking traditional PNG foods, combining it with Australian foods. We're going to have music festivals. We're going to have cultural activities like with poetry and painting and all of these wonderful celebrations throughout the year to come. And that campaign, You Me Stop One Time, will be launched very shortly with the arrival of our new High Commissioner, Ewan McDonald, next month. So, to summarise, what it means to me is an opportunity to reflect on the past 50 years and the history before that, but also to look forward to the massive potential that this country holds for its future. And that's what the Australian government is here to do, to help PNG realise that potential. And that's where we can bring some of our support to bear through our partnership. We really do mean when we say You Me Stop One Time, it's a partnership together, and the Australian government isn't going anywhere. We're here to stay. We're here to work hard with the PNG government, with the people of PNG, to build that future together.
Just within the 50th anniversary, if you can share with us some key milestones that the Consulate General has witnessed or been part of PNG's journey since independence.
Yeah, I mean, the Australian government, of course, opened its High Commission here on independence, the year of independence. The administration transferred from the Australian government as colonial authority in PNG to full independence, and we opened our High Commission right on day one. So the Australian government has been there hand in hand with PNG from the very beginning, and that means we've been there for everything. So I can't give you a whole list of things, but you know, there are milestones throughout PNG's history in the last 50 years that we've just always been there, and we commemorate and celebrate with our PNG brothers and sisters. Many Australians, like my own family, have a long history in PNG. They've been here for generations. They might have married Papua New Guineans or not. They might have created businesses, they might have moved on and sold them to Papua New Guineans or stayed and continued to work. There are a lot of people, a lot of Australians in Lae and others who are very committed to this place, who will remain committed to this place and will continue to seek their lives out here in PNG because they know the quality of life they can have and the fantastic environment that PNG offers. So it's really a special environment for us, for Australians, and very meaningful. People forget the border between PNG and Australia is 3 kilometres. The tip of Queensland is touching the islands of PNG, right? We're not some long distance away. You might feel like that when you get on the plane and fly down to Brisbane, but it is right there. So the reality is we're cousins. And the people in the far north part of Queensland and the Western Province in particular, they're cousins. And so that history is there in blood, but it's also in the legacy and the history that we have together as partners over those decades since PNG's independence and before.
Like your view on how business and community agency can work together to ensure the brighter future for this country. Your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting to me is I've been meeting a lot of business houses here in Lae. They are telling me that whilst they have a number of challenges still in the PNG context, whether it be to do with reliable power supply or access to foreign exchange, those problems are still there and they're being worked on by the government to assist businesses. But despite that, the potential here in PNG is so great that these businesses are still flourishing. They are still building and investing in more expansions for their manufacturing. You just look at Lae, you see the corridor between Lae City and ANZAC. All these businesses are being built there, the corridors are being opened up, and that's because the growth is there, the economy is growing, and despite the challenges that remain there, the underlying challenges, we still see the potential for growth and the actual growth. And so what I hear from businesses is they are optimistic about that future growth. They are here to stay and they want to be a part of that market and contribute their part to the next 50 years and beyond in Papua New Guinea. Businesses have played a very strong role. The private sector, as in any capital economy, has to play a very significant role, and they do. They drive investment, they drive the economy, But what I see here in Lae is that there is a great sense of optimism. It might not be quite so obvious in Port Moresby, but in Lae here, where the manufacturing hub is, where the port is, where all of the import-export is, we have a very strong